Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Serene Sanctuary podcast. This is your host, Chantalay, and I'm happy to be talking to you guys. It's been a minute. Um, let's see, I can give a little bit of a life update, but there's really nothing much, I don't think. Let's see, the last time we talked, I can't even remember. That's kind of bad. But I don't think anything new has been happening to me or with me. Just all good things. Yeah, I finished growth track and then I just about to start D1. We had our first initial meeting yesterday. It's called discipleship. But yeah, so I met with my mentor yesterday and the other girl that's in my group, and it was so sweet. The interaction was great, and then we're gonna see each other again this weekend. But yeah, I think that's it. There probably is more, but I just can't think of it right now. I'm just antsy for this episode because today we're going to be talking about communication. Okay, and I have my notes down, which the last two episodes I had just been speaking off the top of my head, but this one I'm like, there's points that I don't want to miss. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm hitting everything. So, well, at least close to everything. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into it because something happened a couple days ago and I was like, I need to talk about communication. It's important and everyone needs to learn how to, communicate, but there's factors that go into that. So, why we struggle to communicate. First things first, obviously, so with communication, I feel like a lot of people talk, but few really know how to actually communicate. Because real communication is about being understood and not just like getting your words out. Because at the end of the day, you can speak all day, but you can still feel unseen. And I've been in that situation before where it's like, I was talking and sharing my story or answering someone's questions, but I still, at the end of the interaction, I just felt empty and unseen. I was like, this person really wasn't listening to me. Like, they were just trying to, like, I felt like they were just waiting for me to stop talking so then they can start talking. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's not cool. But okay, let's get into it. So, why do people struggle to communicate? Okay, there's a few points that I made for this one. So fear of conflict is the first one. So depending on what we are communicating, like our feelings or just information in general, leaves room for the the pot to be stirred, if that makes sense. So I understand that, yeah, I understand that, but at the end of the day, y'all, we got to get it together. So, but there's times like there's also instances where information needs to be communicated, especially if it's in regards to someone's safety or life. But like there's certain instances where like let's just say you have a friend or family member and you like catch their other friend being like disrespectful or unloyal or like they do something to them, and obviously you want to tell your friend, but that can go either way. Or the most like notable one that like we usually see in like TVs, or I mean it also happens in real life, unfortunately, where it's a friend and their partner gets caught, slipping, and the information and the details about that, but that's a conflict because you want to tell your friend, obviously. But with news like that, different people handle stuff like that differently. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is like such a difficult situation to be in. And I don't wish that upon anyone. But like I said, people take that information different ways. They can take it as like, thank you for telling me, or you're lying. Like, you're just trying to break us up when like nothing in the past has indicated that you're trying to rip them apart. But anyway, um yeah, so with stuff like that, sometimes I mean you can play Russian roulette and take the chance, but I don't know if and me personally, I don't know if I want to take that chance. I mean, like it's difficult because you want your friend to know, like you want to communicate that information, but then again, you don't know how they're going to take it. So but this, I feel like with this can also be tied to fear of being misunderstood, Like you never want what you are communicating to come off with as if you have like ill will or bad intentions, or and you like don't want it to be misinterpreted as well. Now, for the second point, people pleasing. So many of us, my old self included, because my current self is doing really good with, you know, leaving that part behind. I still slip up on rare occasions, but we're still working through it. But like I said, many of us are prone to people pleasing, and with that comes work. I mean, I said working, walking on eggshells in regards to our words because we want to make sure we don't quote unquote say the wrong thing, end quote. But let me tell you something. All right, you gotta speak your truth. Okay, speak your truth. And if they don't like it, then that is on them. Because walking on eggshells is just steering you away from you being your authentic self. It's not benefiting anyone. You might think it's benefiting you and the other person's feelings, but honesty, like, even though it's corny, the line is corny, honesty is the best policy. Just be honest. Okay, and if people end up not liking you because you're not saying what they want to hear or stuff like that, okay, that then they are not for you. They are taking you away from being your authentic self. And I know people pleasing can is especially when you've been doing it for so long, because I was doing it for so freaking long. Like it's easy to stay in it, and it can feel awkward and weird to put those boundaries for yourself, but also to other people, because they'll be like, "Wait a minute, this is not you. Like you always say yes to what I propose, or you like you're giving your opinion. Like that's weird." But they just gotta give it the program. Now, when I say speak your truth, I don't mean, going around and being reckless at the mouth, okay? Don't get hurt out there, y'all. I was like, you trying to play with fire and be reckless at the mouth like a little dragon and whatnot, because then you're gonna get burnt. And ain't nobody gonna want to give you no water to put out that burn, put out the fire, because you was being reckless at the mouth and you was being disrespectful. So you need to tread like don't tread lightly, but don't twist what I say. Still be respectful, but communicate your emotions and how you feel. Don't be a dragon. Don't be reckless at the mouth, because someone set you on fire. They just gonna be looking at you. Be like, well, you should have watched yourself, okay? And don't try to flip it and be like, well, Chandelay said, mm-mm. Chandelay said, be careful. Chandelay said, talk to people like you know how to talk to people, okay? Talk like you human, not some crazy. Like, okay, act right. That's all I'm gonna say. But speak your truth and say how you feel, okay? Now this leads me to my next point, because I am aware that I'm making this sound all easy peasy and all that stuff, but it's not. It's easier said than done. All right. So, point number three, growing up in environments where feelings were not discussed. Like, this is all part of communication, like your past and everything's part of communication. So, for me, that was my circumstance. Well, it kind of, okay. It was my circumstance, and I still feel like it kind of is at moments when it comes to communicating with my mom. But because I remember feeling when I was little, I remember feeling strong feelings of just like the simple emotions, like being sad, upset, or frustrated. And the one sentence that I'm sure, unfortunately, that a lot of us have heard, especially when we're upset and we're crying, is "Stop crying before I give you something to cry about." First of all, if I'm crying, you most likely have already given me something to cry about. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Second of all, statements as such doesn't make someone, let alone a child, feel safe or invited to share or communicate their feelings. Sorry, y'all, I thought I heard something outside. Um, for me, for example, stuff like that, it caused like sentences as such and statements as such just make me like it caused me to hold a lot of things in and not fully come to terms with how sorry, yeah, I think I keep hearing things outside with how certain things or certain situations make me feel. Like, reflecting back to like my younger self, there's definitely like, I guess you can say, holes in like emotional awareness Or like, how, what's another way I can explain it? Where it's like, okay, this situation happened. I know that I probably felt sad or like frustrated during it, but I wasn't guided through, I didn't know how to guide myself through those emotions. Like, okay, obviously that situation was not ideal, or that situation made you feel this way. Like, let's sit with it, let's think about it, let's talk it through. Like, I didn't have that moment. So it's like, it's more of a, oh, like that happened. You're sad. Okay, next, suck it up and go. Like, it's not, I never got, like, I never learned how to sit, dissect it, be like, oh, okay, this, and this happened. So now that's why I feel like this. Well, next time maybe, like, I can change this, or this should happen differently so that I don't feel like that. You know what I'm trying to say? It was very much like, okay, you're sad. You know what made you sad? Kind of. Next. Like, boom, boom, boom. It wasn't like sit down, get to the depths of it, which, affected me in the long run. But we're here, and we figured the fact that I have that self reflection is good, because now I'm able to like talk through my emotions with myself, you know, and I can do help my friends and other people around me do the same. So the next little thing we're gonna talk about is hearing versus listening. This is where the notepad comes out. Okay, you hear the flipping of pages? Yeah, it's getting real. Hearing versus listening. Okay, let's see. Siri, nobody is talking to you. Sorry, y'all. I didn't get that. Could you try again? Did y'all hear her talk to me? I did not summon her. Unless if I did, y'all let me know. Anyway, what was I talking about before I was so rudely interrupted? Oh yeah, hearing versus listening. Um, okay, so people a lot of people tend to listen to reply, not to understand. And by that I mean, like, you could be having a whole conversation with someone, and they already drafting up their response to you. Like, yeah, they're trying to drop up their response to you in their head before you even finish talking. So by the time they respond to you, they done missed a whole section because they done tuned you out. Like, you know how in Charlie Brown, when his parents talking, it sounds like wah 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 wah. Yeah, like the person has just stopped actively listening, and they just already started drafting up the response in their head, and it's like, don't do that. I wasn't done speaking. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, so hold on, where am I going? I gotta sneeze, y'all. Hold on. Okay, no, never mind, we're good. Okay, so the nitty gritty of hearing versus listening. Let's see. So I know. So okay, there's that phrase where it's like, I know you can hear me, but are you listening? Yeah, that's deep. That's real because according to Merriam-Webster, hearing is defined as quote unquote the process, function, or power of perceiving sound. Hearing is passive and does not rely on concentration. Okay, so anybody can hear anyone. Like, you could just be sitting here. It's like when you have background noise, where you're not fully listening to it. It's just something that's just playing to fill the ambiance. You're not focused on it. It's like if you it's like I can play a podcast episode in my ear, and like I can hear it, but I'm not soaking in that. Like, sometimes I've caught myself doing that. I'm not soaking in that information. It's just playing in my ear. And then the episode ends, and I'm like, crap, what they say? I probably should have been listening. That probably would, like, the topic sound good on the title. I probably should have been soaking that in, you know? But um on the opposing side, listening, according to Merriam-Webster.com, hearing, girl, did I say that right? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Hearing is something hearing is something with thoughtful attention, but listening is a mental active process that requires multiple senses. Yeah. Did you hear that? Did I read that right? No, girl, I said that wrong. According to Merriam-Webster, listening is hearing something with thoughtful attention. I said that wrong. Listening is hearing something with thoughtful attention. Listening is a mental active process that requires multiple senses. So obviously, it requires you to be fully aware, and not just you can't be dismissive when you're physically listening. You can't be dismissive. That's for hearing. That's when you just, I'm just a mosquito. Okay. When you hear me, but you really don't want to listen to me. Yeah. No, we need people, everybody needs to be listening to someone. And I know sometimes, especially when our parents are ranting, we're just like, bro, yeah, we all say, I hear you. But we're not fully listening, you know? Oops. But because anybody can say that, like I said earlier, anybody can say that they can or they are hearing you. Okay, that's cute, but are you listening? Because listening is processing what I'm saying, it's taking it into consideration. And like the response that you get, that I don't know how to say this, you can tell if someone heard you or if they're physically actually listening by the response. Because when you're physically listening to me, you're going to respond with empathy. With me, whenever someone's talking to me, I usually, like, say if they're talking for a while and then obviously it's my turn to respond, I usually, to show them that I was listening, because I am, I usually use some words or sentences that they said, and I like repeat it back to them, or I ask for clarification. Like, that's another way you can ask for clarification, like when you're, in mid like conversation, you'd be like, okay, so you did this, is this what you meant by that? Like, you making sure you get all the points right before you provide your response, and so, and that also, like I said, it involves empathy. Like, you're like, dang, like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I understand that your frustration, I understand why you're so excited about that situation, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you're showing like, dang, he or she or they was actually listening to me. Thank you. Thank you. Because I can tell, me personally, I can tell when someone was hearing me versus listening. And I was about to say I can tell because they weren't making eye contact with me, but a lot of people are not that good at eye contact, that which I've noticed. But there's like certain, I don't know how to say it. There's like certain eye contacts where it's like I'll look up, like I'll look at them and they just keep, what are you looking at behind me? Like, what's on the back wall? Is there a fly or something? And I'm like, are you actually, because then if they just start answering, but they didn't say nothing, like if they didn't include anything of what I just said in their response, then I'm like, what? Were you were you present, or were you in no man's land? Were you in Charlie Brown land, like going womp womp womp? Because to me, like, your response, like I said, your response shows that you're listening, and then, but tied into that is active listening. Like, active listening is so freaking important. It means that you're present. It means that you care what the other person is saying, even if it's a conversation you really prefer not to be having. Like, I feel like there's still like a modicum of respect that should be given, in terms of that. But yeah, active listening does not include you already drafting up what you're going to say to me as I'm still speaking. Active listening means you're present, you're focused on what the person is saying, and then after they're done talking, when I tell you, it is perfectly okay to let the silence exist. If you need like a couple seconds to process what they said so that you can provide a thoughtful and caring response, me, I love that. I even do that to my friends. I'll be like, okay, I'll like verbally process. I'm like, okay, you said this and then that, but so and so said, but no. And so then I'm like, can you like give me like a minute, give me a couple of seconds before I respond to you, because I'm processing it, I'm taking it all in, and I'm trying to provide you with a response that shows you like that, hey, I'm actually listening, I want to help you. If it's a if it's a conversation where it's like advice being given or X, Y, and Z, but it's like, give me a couple seconds, girl. And they'll say the same thing to me. They'll be like, girl, wait a minute, like I need to, like, it's like a verbal process that we go through. But that right there, like active listening, yes. Thank you. Yes. Because like, and also what I said earlier, how like you can show like that you were actively listening by including a little bit of what the person said in your response. Now, when I say this, I don't mean, don't mock me like a chatty Cathy doll or a dancing cactus doll, where you speak into it and then it repeats what you said right back to them. Like, don't be don't piss me off. And what I mean by, I'm sorry, excuse me. Like, don't be like, like mocking, in a mocking tone, because that's what those dolls do, like in a mocking tone. They're like, da 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 da. I don't know how to say it, but like you know what I'm trying to say. Like show that you're being freaking attentive. Okay, just like please. That's all I ask. That's really all I ask. And do I have anything else on that one? I don't think I do. On to the next one. Your tone matters more than the words. So I'm sure along with my parent, excuse me, water break. Okay, I'm sure some of y'all have heard the phrase, it's not, wait, I'm about to mess it up. That's crazy. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah, I've been told that many times. And I think it is true. Because my mom has said that to me before. And I'm like, speaking of which, when parents say that to kids, it also applies to them. I'm just saying, parents, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But we can talk about that possibly in another episode. But yeah, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Like I could I could go up to you and I could be like, you really like I don't know, what's an example? Like you really like effing pit like made me mad, like how could you do that? Like what is wrong with you? Like in that tone. Or I could mature it up a little bit and approach them calmly. You're like, hey, can I have a conversation with you? Like, what happened 10 minutes ago? I didn't really appreciate that. I think the tone that you used with me was not okay, or what you said was not okay. Like, there's different approaches to it. Because if I come at you all hot headed and like huffing and puffing like a big bad wolf, communication, well, effective communication, is not going to be had. Hands might be thrown. Okay, I'm not throwing hands, but like someone might throw hands at you, and I don't want that. We don't really want that. But if I come at you with a calm approach and a mature approach, it's like, hey, can I talk to you? Like what happened back there was not okay. I didn't really appreciate it. If I'm talking to you like an adult, like a mature, frontal lobe fully developed, which I'm 23, so my frontal lobe is not fully developed. So maybe retract that statement. But if I'm coming to you with maturity and as an adult, one on one, like even if you're my parent, I like you said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. If I'm expressing myself in a calm manner, I don't know why you getting so defensive on me. Like I've had that happen before where I'm trying to communicate with a grown adult and it's just like, what do you mean? Like, I can't believe you just said that. So we not grown, we can't have a one on one conversation where I'm trying to express my feelings. Because I've had that happen where I'm like I've tried to explain myself or like something that happened in the past or why I acted that way, like with my parent, with my mother, love her. And it's like I don't know if I really just was not self aware of how I was coming across, but I said it in a calm manner. I was like, yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable. Or I've even had friends tell me about their experiences with their parent, where it's like they're trying to have a one on one conversation. Like the parent had brought up a topic, and then they responded. They're like, yeah, like I just didn't like we just didn't feel like we could talk to you. And then the parents like, how dare you? Oh, really? It's like that. Like they get really defensive, and it's like actually that's a topic for a whole nother podcast episode because it's like I'm just trying to talk to you. Like why are you so defensive? That yeah, see that's another yeah, we're gonna talk about that another time, y'all. Um yeah, so because okay, moral of the story is your tone, timing, and delivery can literally change everything. And communicating during high emotions often leads to misunderstandings, like what we were talking about earlier. Like when people get into an argument. Oh, and I know with me, if someone's getting really riled up with me and I'm just trying to have a conversation with them, then I don't know. I say I shut down. I just get quiet and I just sit there because I'm not going back and forth with you. If you're yelling at me like that, I'm like we need to sit down, calm down, so we can have a conversation. Because if you're yelling at me, I'm gonna just sit there and look at you. Because you need to walk out the room. We need time apart for like a couple minutes. Breathe, take it down a notch, and then we can reconvene and talk like we got some common sense, okay? But this screaming back and forth, screaming gets you nowhere. It just increasingly it just continuously heightens the emotions, and I feel like people don't get their words across, and it's just a whole just jumbled words in the air. Like when people are screaming, that's what I picture. I picture a visual of just like words in the air floating around. It's not landing in either person's brains because it's not getting through. You're just both shouting at each other. No one is freaking listening. So taking the time to be like, no, we're both upset. Our emotions are heightened. I'm gonna go take a breather outside or in the other room. You do the same. And then when we're both calm, we can reconvene and talk about this so that we are able to hear each other and communicate effectively, get our points across, and hopefully meet in the middle. Okay? Like it's perfectly okay to say, I need a moment before we talk about this. Because in heightened emotions, people be saying things that they don't actually mean. And, well, yeah, people be saying things they don't mean. Like, I'm sorry, I was just upset. I'm like, with that, I'm like, okay, I get you were upset, but like, did you actually mean that? But you just didn't want it to come out, but it did because you were in a heightened, you know, you were in a heightened state. Because it's like how they say when like drunk drunk thoughts or drunk words or sober, yeah, drunk words are your sober thoughts that you don't say. That's a little, let's talk about that. We're not going to talk about it right now, but I just wanted to make that point. Someone focus on that in the comments. Someone do something with that. I don't know. But let's see. What else do I need to say about this? This kind of ties back to people pleasing. Learning to say what you feel, but and not what sounds best. Like with people pleasing, how I said earlier, like it's so easy to just say what sounds best and what you think what won't hurt other people's feelings. I keep stuttering. My goodness, it's easy to say what you think won't hurt other people's feelings for the sake of their feelings, but we with that like you often soften our truth to keep others comfortable. Like we're putting a safe blanket around them while giving ourselves the itchy, uncomfortable blanket, actually leaving ourselves out in the cold, shaken, okay, in the middle of Antarctica, while they over there snuggled up in an igloo with the big old thermal weighted blanket. All right, and that's just rude, okay? Because honest communication doesn't mean being harsh. It's just showing that one, you are human and true. Two, your feelings are valid. Like you're not being harsh because you're telling someone, hey, like what you did wasn't right, or I didn't like the way you said that to me. Because you can be kind and direct at the same time. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I'm like, hey girl, like that was not okay. Don't say that word. Like that kind of probably made them feel like crap. And like I said, I know for a lot of us, all of this is like easier said than done because I'm still working on it. So like no harm, no foul. If I'm saying all these things and you're like, dang, because we're all in this boat together. Like we're all trying to figure it out and do our best at becoming a better individual each day. And communication comes easy to some because either they're just born with that easy with that gift, or like they had the tools growing up that like allowed them to easily communicate and have like be a healthy communicator, while others had like not the most ideal growing up um, in terms of communication. Like there's still gaps there, which I can I can relate to the gaps. Like that's where I'm at. So we're trying to like learn and teach ourselves, but it's okay. It's all a learning thing. Um, Also, another point: communication with yourself. Okay, yeah. Um, how we talk to ourselves matter. Which once again, this can be another um podcast episode. This is a kind of like a self care in terms of like communication, but like how we talk to ourselves matters as well. Because if you're over there talking crap about yourself, because I was surrounded by that for a couple of weeks, at a job, and it's not effective. Like there's one person specifically, just a whole lot of negative self talk. I'm like, oh my goodness, which I know for some crazy reason. Negative self talk comes so much easier than positive self talk for a lot of people, like a lot of society. And I don't know if that's just a social media thing or a societal thing that got us that got us in that, but it's like, whoa, dude, because we need to be self-aware. Like our self-awareness comes before healthy communication with others. Like the it our awareness with how we talk to ourselves has got to be there and on, I don't want to say high alert, but we need to have self-awareness and how we communicate and talk with ourselves in order to establish healthy communication with others. Like it kind of ties into like you can't love someone else before you love yourself. Like it kind of resonates with that a little bit. Like you need to have that healthy communication. Someone is pushing a garbage can outside of my house. Excuse you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But anyway, um, yeah, it all ties into that. Like you need to be aware of how you talk to yourself and how you make your own self feel before you over here trying to establish healthy communication with others. Because it's like I feel like sometimes in certain situations, like if you have unhealthy communication patterns with someone else, like with other people, then you also have unhealthy communication patterns with yourself. Like, do you take the time to sit down and like look at not look at your emotions because you can't look at your emotions, but like I mean you kind of can if you write them down. Like, do you take the time to like sit with yourself and recognize like what makes you like what your triggers are and what makes you happy and how you can work through that? Because once you do that, like once you start to do that, then I feel like that kind of strengthens your approach and how you communicate with others. Because it's like, dang, if I'm coming at my I'm coming at them like all hot headed and high tempered because I come at myself that way. Like, oh my goodness, you're like if you're talking to yourself like, oh, you're so stupid. Like why would you do that? And then you reflect and you're like, I come at other people like that. Like, what is wrong with you? Yeah, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. And I once again I understand it's not always like that, but just take the time to like be self aware. Okay? Yeah. Um And with that, like how I said like 2 seconds ago, where I was like, look at your emotions, journaling, like you can use journaling and reflection as tools to help with that. Like journaling is so good. I haven't done it in a while. I'm staring at my journal on the bookshelf in front of me right now, but it is really good because then you're able to look back. Like the power of the pen is so cool, and like a pen and paper is so cool. Now that I'm like thinking about it for like 2 seconds, because like you can really, it's like a little time capsule. You can look back and read and just watch your growth or be like, how did I handle this situation before? And then you can read because you wrote it. You can read it and be like, dang, I really did that. So I'm going to do that method at the same time the next time. Um, the same time the next time, Chantelet, English, the same time that situation happens, excuse me, or if that situation happens. Um, let's see, that's another point we need to talk about. Um, okay, so with communication, obviously, like I said earlier, there can be misinterpretations, misunderstandings, but repair is a part of communication. This is point number, I don't know, but repair is is a part of communication, okay? Because miscommunication happens, okay? But what matters is taking accountability, like where you fell short, and also the other person needs to take accountability where they fall short, okay? Everybody needs to admit their wrongs, all right? So taking accountability and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I should have communicated this, or I omitted this fact or this information, or I said this the wrong way, and I'm sorry. And then apologizing without excuses. Because a lot of us have a tendency was like, okay, I apologize, or I apologize, but if you hadn't said it like this, and I wouldn't have did it like that. Don't flip it back. I mean, the other person has to be aware of their part. If they had a part in the miscommunication, they need to be aware of it too. But like, just work on like we have to work on apologizing without excuses, and that allows room for growth instead of perfection. Because at the end of the day, y'all, ain't nobody perfect. Nobody's perfect. In the words of Hannah Montana herself. All right, we just gotta keep trying and growing. And as long as like with me, if I see growth from an individual in aspects as such, especially communication, I'm like, dang, like I don't expect you to be perfect, but like I see you making an effort. I see you taking accountability for where you lacked or where you could be better, and I appreciate that. But also when you like take accountability and you like that growth needs to be seen because everybody can like talk the talk, but like if you're walking the walk, like if you recognize your faults, but you are putting in work to be better. Oh, hallelujah, amen. Because like I said, anybody can recognize their fault. Like a lot of us are self-aware, but we're not putting in the work. I keep saying I need to change that. Like people, what was I saying? A lot of people are self-aware, but then and they're like, oh, I know where the fault, like my faults are and everything, but like in putting in the work to fix it is not there. So it's like I love that you're self-aware, but shouldn't we be making efforts to fix it? And I have that in multiple aspects of my life where I'm like I'm very self-aware, but it's like okay, so you're self-aware, but you're not gonna fix the problem. I kind of talked about that in my doom scrolling episode, but um, yeah, it's like you don't know, you are very aware, but you're not going to fix the problem. Like you're not gonna put in that action. You're gonna talk about it. You're gonna talk about putting in that action, but you didn't put in that action. So yes, but like I said, repairing is part of communication, and it allows room for growth instead of perfection. Okay, no one should be expecting you to be perfect. Okay, you don't have to be perfect. You are great. Just you are great. We just all have room to grow. And if you are the best communicator out there, shout out to you. I don't know of anyone who is. I mean, I have friends that are great at communicating. Like we tell each other our how we feel and everything. But like who, I need to look that up. I'm nosy. Is there someone who is like the best communicator in the world? I think that'd be really cool. And like how do you establish like what makes someone the best see, I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, so a little the ending message is clear, like I said, clear communication isn't about being perfect. It is about being intentional. Okay? Okay. And that is all that I have to say on this episode of the Serene Sanctuary with your host, Chantalay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and just listening to me rant about communication. I might make a part two of it later on down the line if I think of anything else. If you can think of anything else that's essential to communication, go ahead and put in the comments. Like I want to hear what you guys have to say. Speaking of comments, like let me know if you like the podcast. Go ahead and rate it. The podcast is on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. It's all underneath the same name, The Serene Sanctuary. And yeah, I think that is all for today. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. If I don't talk to you before the new year, have a good new year. Have a great new year. 2026 is going to be so good for this podcast. I'm nothing like I have no excuse. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I literally have no excuse. But thank you so much for tuning in and just being here along for the journey. I really, really appreciate you guys. And I will see you next time at the Serene Sanctuary. Bye, guys.